Oh my goodness, ladies and gents and animals of all sorts that are tuned in. We are in Game 2 of Liquid TLO versus oGs.NaDa with the NaDa up 1-0 in the top right corner now on Crevasse as the red Terran. And down in bottom left land, we have Liquid TLO himself as the blue Terran, hoping to get a little redemption after that failed ghost strategy in Game 1.
Did you say the NaDa?
Yeah, you know, I have these suffixes that I like to just throw on. Nader is one, so you can be like DJ Weedinator, DJ Weedimmense, the Wheatness, these sorts of things.
Yes, Dr. Wheat. Yes, I got it.
I
wasn't
yes.
sure. I wanted to make sure that I was just hearing it right. So awesome.
Thank you.
Into game number 2, we saw the early Ghost Academy coming out by TLO. Unfortunately, the nuke didn't quite hit his mark. NaDa knew they needed to just go after that ghost, took it out, quickly disposed of the rest of the army, as well as the great Banshee harass that came from him as well. So what will TLO do this time when we see some more unorthodox approaches to this matchup? Much bigger map to deal with here on Crevasse, and then also we've got things like the rocks that make your ramp smaller than it actually is, and all of these things will come into place, but the cross positions here I kind of really like for this matchup.
And it looks like TLO, ooh, does it smell like Command Center on 14 in here? It just might be the case, and it is. My nose detected it preemptively. We do see the Command Center going down to the back door. Expo 4, TLO. NaDa still trying to scout around, but note how far these scout distances are, despite this not being the biggest map out there. NaDa looks like he's going to be going for an orbital command, followed by an expand at the back door, as again, no gas from either player quite yet.
So even though it looks like both players might ultimately end up with the same opening, is there anything you could comment on, like which one should have an economic advantage? We do see the Marine out here and the barracks well completed here, while only 50% for TLO, but 50% on his expansion.
You know, I just do not know which one actually ends up being better. I'm actually trying to poke around with my little income tab friend to find out the answer to that, because that is something a lot of players ask, whether they should just straight early expo or throw down a Rax. The Rax is definitely a little safer, as we see, TLO manages to get into the base. He's going to spot everything. He sees the 2 late refineries. He 100% knows that there's a command center lurking about. That is the standard timing for that, so now TLO going to get his very own double gas going as well.
Yeah, and I do believe NaDa found everything out up there as well. We got the orbital being morphed right now, and he will get out of there. No, he will not. Marine will execute him upon arriving or trying to depart. Couple Marines out right now, and big difference is that NaDa will just have a little, he'll be a little bit behind on that command center, but he's got, well, no, it's almost exactly the same. 2 Marines out. Take a look at the income tab, very, very close to one another. So just kind of seems like those 2 builds sort of canceled each other out. However, now we do have the factory going down for NaDa, and well, we got it going down for TLO too. So we're stepping with these 2.
Apparently, it is a little better for TLO in this particular circumstance. We're seeing him pull slightly ahead in the unit counting station. We see TLO has 2 more workers and is at about the exact same spot that his opponent is at, even actually having a little bit more money. So, ladies and gentlemen, you have now learned that Command Center first, a little bit better of an early expand. But NaDa going for that very early 3rd gas. Very curious to see how he's going to play that off.
Yeah, and well, I mean, what do you think? He could last time. Well, yeah, he's got the starport going, so probably going to spend some of that gas on, of course, the Banshees, and may even decide to get cloaked this time. We'll have to see Tech Lab going down there on the factory. He'll switch that over. Meanwhile, we do have we have Blue Flame coming out here for Dario, and some Hellions on the way. The starport being built as well. Oh, hello.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, that puts a damper on things, no doubt.
That
he sees it 100%. But as we see, wow, looks like he just canceled, went straight for the siege mode, is getting the medevac, but I think oGs.NaDa now is going to be doing a little bit more of defensive playing after that, so pretty cool response from TLO to immediately transition quite smartly out of that. Let's see if he can hold it off properly.
Got Banshee being made. In comes the Hellion. He'll be quickly dispatched of thanks to those Marines there at the ramp. And we do also have the Tech Lab going down there on the factory. NaDa knows if there's tanks coming out, he doesn't want to get behind on those at all. So siege mode will come out a little bit earlier here for TLO. I think that was probably a pretty smart move there. Gave his opponent the opportunity to be ready there because he did scan it. And it was just a perfect timing scan. There we see TLO throwing out a scan himself. He'll see the NG Bay. He'll see the 2 barracks. And do not believe that he has seen the factory starport yet. Just the tech lab over there if he takes a gander.
I'm actually poking around TLO's base and getting a little bit concerned for his well-being. I mean, he only has a barracks, a factory, and a starport that actually is not doing that much at this point in time. Whereas if you look at NaDa's base, he has a lot more developed of an infrastructure, even getting those extra barracks and tech labs up. And also has that Banshee out for a little bit of early harassment. TLO moving forward with a Viking, trying to spot that starport, pick anything that off right as it pops out, but to no avail. We even see that Banshee from NaDa now beginning to harass TLO's back door.
Oh, and there was a siege tank just sitting there. It is going to get out of there with minimal damage. However, these SCVs are taking hits, just waiting for units to come over here and do something about it, but yet the Marines have not responded. There they are moving up the ramp now. Siege tank leading the charge. Here come those Marines, and he's just going to get a few hits off of them. Well-placed missile turret, but only got a singular shot off on that attack.
Looks like TLO's continuing to mass up those tanks and is getting another command center, so clearly gearing up to do something a little bit more long-term focused. NaDa looks like he's getting the usual mix, getting the stim and combat shield, probably going to have a timing push coming up soon. There's the extra medevac popping out as well, and we also see that that one Viking from TLO is now returned back to the backdoor expo for himself, so that way he can defend against those Banshee harassments a little bit more easily.
Yeah, and it looked like he might actually scout all the way around the map, but he canceled that and just decided to move over. We do have a medevac filled with 8 Marines heading over. It has just met up with this Banshee. They will part ways, but NaDa's medevac is taking the exact same route that it took before. Here's where it could get really nasty, though, and this Banshee could just turn into an absolute distraction technique. Like, oh, hey, look at me over here. Pay attention to me. While the medevac goes in, drops, does a ton of damage to the economy. So that's kind of what I'm expecting to see here. He's going to want to be careful there. Missile turret is going down. Viking is out too, and that might be bad news. This distraction might go bye-bye.
And it looks like the Banshee is going to be able to get away, so a little bit unfortunate there, but there's the drop going on. NaDa does a preemptive scan, sees the units, is going to pull back, going to wait till things are a little bit better. In the meantime, if we go to the resource station, we see both players about even. However, TLO does have that earlier expansion, and NaDa only just now starting his, so this could be a good time for TLO to catch up and get a bigger amount of unit-producing structures.
Some cute Viking harass there as he tries to take out that SCV building the command center. Unfortunately, it didn't really pay off for him. Now, where did that Viking go? You notice that Viking's way up on the top. Over in the corner is that loaded up medevac. Would just love to see him like sneak over there and maybe get it. But Viking is going to be returning back. As you mentioned, that third base at TLO getting very, very up there. Dropping some mules, getting more SCVs down. Viking is going to come in. He's going to land again. He's going to try to snipe that SCV a second time, and he does managed to pull it off, delaying that third even more.
And if only TLO just pops into the top left corner, it looks like he's going to be hanging out there with the Viking, but man, that one medevac in the top left can be such a big threat. But for the time being, it's just 10 food that NaDa doesn't have in play. So that can be a very, very problematic situation to be in. And ooh, look at this. TLO getting 2 starports at his second natural.
Very interesting, and unfortunately we did see a failed drop there by TLO. He just kind of blindly dropped into the natural there. A couple Marines do go down. Still has that Viking in the vicinity as well. We do see a sensor tower on the southern end of NaDa's GIMP expansion there, so he can watch for any dropships, any units that might come in around that way. Now, you had mentioned the 2 starports. You know, what do you expect to see TLO do with those?
Well, given the fact that there's a fusion core right next door, I so hope that he is going to be getting a ton of battle cruisers. But it looks like TLO getting caught a little bit out of position. Will he end up losing one of those medevacs? Yes, he will end up getting picked off It looks like NaDa is starting to swing around with a very intimidating Marine tank force. It's going to be getting in a good position very soon. And these 2 starports, incidentally, are not in the best position. TLO actually producing double Banshees. Knows he needs to stay alive right now. And NaDa's starting to get into position. And look at that 1 medevac from NaDa actually just rejoining the army.
Yep, there's still a little unit back, or little group back there to protect that. Looks like the back rocks will be in danger right now as we have several tanks and a lot of Marines coming through here, and you just said it right. Those starports are in the worst possible spot. Will these siege tanks deter this army from NaDa? He could siege up right there, use the vision to his advantage. We're going to see a couple of Banshees get out here, and we do have another drop over here on the side, but nice healing there of that siege tank, and he does eliminate that, no problem. TLO wins that small battle, and has at least managed to keep NaDa back.
And this is an extremely awkward position for NaDa. What unit mix do you go for? Do you begin adding on a lot of Vikings, having seen those 2 starports, perhaps having... oh, and it looks like NaDa actually has even seen the Fusion Core, so he knows that there could be battlecruisers coming up. But if we look at the production tab for NaDa, it looks like he's getting some Vikings, but not overdoing it. It looks like he might try to just pressure and expand.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right on that, but we do have more harassment coming out from TLO. Both of these players really trying their hand as much as they can with the harassment. Banshee and Medevac will be deflected away. We have another base going down for TLO, and then this far northwest base, which seems really likely to get scouted here, but TLO is perfectly fine parking those units right there. He's also got that base in the middle. We do see a Banshee coming in for some more harass, so just so much action all over, and NaDa, will he finally move forward?
And it looks like, oh, he is sieged in a very intimidating position. TLO is just hairs outside of the range, and it looks like TLO also swinging around with some Marines onto the left side, does have that medevac up on the top left as well, and there's the scan. He sees that there are overall fewer units, so he might just try to knock these rocks down. And we do see, whoa, TLO pushing through the middle, cloaked Banshees in the middle do force those tanks and Marines back, and there's the huge siege by TLO. NaDa engages, a little bit of an error there by NaDa.
Oh, but TLO letting his Marines run in there kind of negated his little advantage that he had briefly. Now a pack of Marines has spread off. They looks like they could do some damage over here on the side. We still have this Banshee behind that expansion as well. So Dario's really got to watch the front. There is the cloak. He still gets 1 siege tank, but cannot get as much damage as I think he wanted to get done there. We now have some battle cruisers out. There's 1 out, more on the way.
And if we poke around, we see in the unit counting station that NaDa has 4 Vikings, and that is it. He really is low on the Viking count. It looks like TLO spotted some SCVs being transferred to the top left. He realizes it and sends everything up to that top left corner where there is a morphing planetary fortress. The battlecruisers and tanks for TLO over onto the left flank as well, and it looks like that 1 planetary fortress is not quite done. It looks like TLO is going to try to spread out and just take it out with just Marines. Do believe you can kill that off faster than it can kill off Marines. The medevac heals so quickly, but it doesn't even matter. That is going to fall down, and TLO is even going to have enough units to be able to pick off this force.
Yeah, he is, unless they focus fire that medevac, which looks like it will not happen. In fact, they'll pick up a few extra stragglers as well. Look at the amount of missile turrets that are going up in the middle of the map from NaDa, kind of limiting the space in which this air Terran force is going to be able to do damage with. Vikings do pop forward. He takes out 1, 2 Vikings, possibly a third. No, the Marines will take out the third. And look at this, Marines move forward. Not the smartest move. Almost all of them decimated, but the siege count tank. The siege tank count of NaDa is just huge.
And another skirmish, the top left is almost even Marine numbers, but that 1 medevac saving a lot of lives in that fight. And there go forward the 2 battlecruisers. It looks like Liquid TLO does have the advantage in the sky, so that means all those are going to have to unsiege. And look at TLO with the perfect stim and go timing. The tanks are trying to fall back, but it looks like NaDa will not have any time to try to siege them back up, just firing without being in siege mode, but against a Marine battlecruiser army, it is not going to work. TLO sieges up, is blasting through everything, and with that scan, he sees that that is a completely open expansion. And the good game.
My God.
Wow.
Oh, my. God.
Oh my god, we even got a chance to see that there was a nuke getting constructed as well. TLO just went with some amazing tactical plays in those last 3 minutes to swing right ahead. So for the third time today, we are going on to a final game 3.
Hell yeah. And I got to be honest with you, I was a little bit worried there. Wasn't sure if TLO is going to be able to pull it off. And all I got to say is, man, those battle cruisers surely are fast.
Oh my goodness, those are definitely going to be incorporated more into every single possible strategy now. We got the chance to see how just one little tiny mistake, losing air control for just a window of 10 seconds, enough to cause those battlecruisers to pop in, the unsiege of the tank, and my gosh, TLO was like that cobra that is just waiting for the small furry rabbit to look away for 1 second. All those Marines stimmed right in, and the poor little rabbit NaDa got just chewed up.
Yeah, no, that's a great way to put it, Day. I thought that match was really remarkable. Keep an eye out. We're going to be hopping on to Game 3 here in just a moment, Day. I'm so excited. This will conclude Day 4 of the TSL3 round of 32. We're going to be hopping into the round of 16. Guys, don't forget, there is no TSL next week because there will be MLG Dallas, so you'll probably be tuning into that. And then the week after, we're going to resume things like we never really even had a break. So very excited. We still have one match left, though, Day. We're tied 1 game apiece. NaDa versus TLO. Game 3. It's coming up next. Don't go away.